The president, from inception of his administration, focused squarely on diversifying the economy and driving in investments to, cushion the effect.
Welcome back, and we're looking at the global diplomacy on Nigeria's behalf that Mr. President is spearheading. Can't really talk, I think, about the Chuttle diplomacy because the principles are actually there, and I think the President has actually met with the leader over in China as well. But Sheung in Ilorin is standing by. Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Go ahead, please, now with your comment.
Yeah, I'm a bit having a different view with the guest you brought this morning.
Okay, let's hear it.
We all know Nigeria relies on crude oil.
Right.
And we can't differentiate the new diplomacy of the new presidency of him, removing the subsidy, and the masses were the bedrock of all. The masses were the only ones suffering from the virtue of unable to have a free transportation in town, scarcity of fuel, hike in price, and all varieties surrounding the petroleum increment in price.
Yeah, Sheung, before you continue, I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm sure you've heard before that there is no such thing as a free lunch.
Yeah, I heard that. But your guest was saying, so government have been, subsidizing education for us.
Okay. So
and that makes it look much cheaper in Nigeria than any other state, any other country in the world.
So what are you? Could you clarify? What is the point that you are making, sir?
It's just about the government should try and subsidize the petroleum for us as well. It could, because this is where most of Nigerians feed from.
Okay. This is a national. It's a national asset.
There's no job availability.
Oh, okay. If I get you...
If I end up unable to feed his family after the whole day of struggling around the town to get customers or to get transporters to their destination because of availability and the expenses incurring at the end of the day.
Oh, okay. I think I get you, Sheung. We'll put it to Mr. Akinsiju.
Just took a bit for us on that aspect.
I think I get you. Let's see what Mr. Akinsiju thinks, because if I'm not mistaken, I get the analogy that if Nigeria were a canteen and if the president was the canteen owner, then the children and family of that canteen don't need to be paying full price, if any price at all, simply because it's a family thing. I don't know. But as I said, that was just my read of maybe your question. Mr. Akinsiju, you heard Sheung with his concern. He called him from Ilorin.
I've heard such sentiments, in fact, at a point in time, when I was also little enlightened about the effects of the subsidy policy, I also had told that. But let's start from your analysis. A family garden, for instance, produces food, and because the family believes it belongs to it, the family eats all the food. But the family forgets that you are also responsible for buying clothing materials, to clothe the family members. The family forget the fact that they have to buy water, and they have to engage in some other forms of transactions that will need money. So after depleting the resources in the farm, what do you have to buy the clothes? What do you have to buy shoes? How do you sponsor, the children to school, from that family? And I think that is the analogy we are saying here. Do we need to consume everything we have in our farm? So we have a depleting resource. The crude oil is a depleting resource, one. Then two, it is a primary product for which we sell. Unfortunately, because of the structure we have been running before the passage of the PIA, we sell so many barrels of crude oil. They are taken away from our jurisdiction, and then they are taken back. We use the earnings we have earned, the revenue we have earned from their sale. We use that same revenue to purchase the finished products or the refined products from abroad. We take them back into our community, into our country, and by so doing, we dispense to use to Nigerians who need to use them, and so many Nigerians actually use PMS, for instance. But the fact is that rather than now sell at the rate at which we purchased, we are actually selling under the rate, of purchase. But the unfortunate thing is that at the time, and we need to also go back to history, this subsidy, the idea of subsidy, was actually conceived and applied in the year 1973 when there was a war, this American, the Arab-Israel war, Yom Kippur War. And because of that, the Arab countries determined that they were not going to supply crude oil to America because America was sponsoring Israel, And because of that, the price of crude oil skyrocketed from about $2.9 a barrel, $2.09 a barrel within 7 months to $11. That was a quadruple, of a quadrupling of the price, as it were. So all of a sudden, Nigeria even became very rich from that opportunity. Yes, the increase in price started reflecting on byproducts, on refined products. And of course, government had become so comfortable. There's so much money to play around. And the government easily said, okay, can we take a percentage of this and use it to subsidize refined products for Nigerians? Now, the scenario is different now. We have a situation where in 2022, for instance, we spent $10 billion, subsidizing a petroleum product, only one single petroleum product, one single refined product. And then, to make it worse, we actually borrowed 1 trillion naira to subsidize. Now, once you start doing that, it becomes economically irresponsible because the returns on the usage of petroleum, of PMS, as it were, the returns on the usage are not exactly measurable economic returns. So when you start borrowing money to fund subsidy, it becomes irresponsible. You should start looking at our mental makeup for doing such. Now, why I'm, however, impressed by what the president has done is to say, okay, we are going to remove this, but this is an alternative. And my appeal, I made a statement, I think sometimes ago this week. I issued a statement calling the NLC, to drive what the option the president has given us, the CNG, compressed natural gas. And the body that is responsible for that had come out to say that a liter of compressed natural gas, which is equivalent of a liter of petroleum PMS, what we call petrol, is 280 naira. And it is going to serve the same purpose for which we will use the same liter of PMS, 280 naira. And if you are buying 1,800, 900 for a liter of PMS, there is this alternative. Can we start driving this alternative that is more economical? And it's not just about being economical. The world is going environmental now. The world is getting more conscious of what it calls greenhouse energy emissions, and they are even actually discouraging investment in crude oil production. So Nigeria, to add to that, Nigeria is actually a predominant gas reserve jurisdiction. So this is providing us three opportunities: cheaper energy source, alternative energy source, better vehicle maintenance, and sustenance, because the energy, as it were, the gas energy, is vehicular friendly. So which means over time you spend lesser on your engine, And thirdly, you are aligning with global standing over environmental greenhouse emission. So I think we don't need to be too sycophantic, or trenchant in our position on PMS usage.
Okay, let me, Mr. Yakub, thank you very much for holding on, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, always hold me on for almost 6 minutes. Good morning once again. Good morning to Mr. Akinsiju. Usually, please give me at least maybe 2 minutes because you hold me for 6 minutes.
Okay.
Usually, one, I totally agree with Mr. Akinsiju, but the issue is this: before the subsidy was removed, I think what the point Mr. Akinsiju made last is that the alternative to PMS, I think it's supposed to be put in place. For example, what is the cost of the gadget to convert our petroleum to gas now? What is the cost? That gadget is so cost to the extent that I don't think you are doing it to your own personal car as well, because the cost of this gadget is so high to the extent that ordinary citizens cannot even go and say, okay, I want to convert my PMS car to gas, to CNG. Then the labor, instead of the labor hacks for more payment for all these increments in salary, minimum wage, and all those things, those are the things they're supposed to fight for initially. That if you want to remove this subsidy, as Mr. President said the day of inauguration, that subsidy has gone, even though I don't know, maybe are you hearing me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, even though the subsidy has already been removed before the Mr. President comes to power, he announced it the day of inauguration that the subsidy has gone. And that's why they have never put in place uncertainty that will quench all those things that we are facing now. But I will say that, Mr. Akinsiju, now the same refinery that we have in this country, in the process refinery, the Dangote refinery, I want to know why somebody says that the product that comes from that refinery initially, it is not a good product, and then the House of Rep, they make a move, and then they find out that the product, it is top notch, it is the best, and then there is nothing happen to that person that makes that statement within the NNPC. Up to today, I start to be corrected. That person needs to be fired because of what they are getting. After you come out and telling us the product that's coming from the refinery of the Dangote, it is not good, and then at the end of the day, we find out that it is the best. That's number one. Number two, they were collecting turnaround maintenance, all those refineries, 4 refineries we have. Up to today, the refinery is not working, and then last year, the NNPC, the DG, said that this refinery work next month. You're beginning to postpone it. Up to this moment, the refinery has not been working. What is that person still doing in the office? That is why I totally disagree with the Mr. President. Up to this, because the Mr. President of Governor of Lagos State at that time, he could have been fired these very particular people, because you cannot keep on telling Nigerian citizens that refinery works next month. After that, next day you postpone it another 2 months, another 3 months, and then up to now, the 4 refinery has not been working, and then you still keeping that kind of person in the office. What are they doing there? This package should do, please.
Okay.
To this point. God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yakub. I'm again apologizing to you for keeping you waiting, but you did exact your pound of flesh. But thank you very much for calling in. Mr. Akinsiju, that was Yakub for you.
Yes. Of course, I appreciate his sentiments. And, the sentiment is actually well delivered. Well, again, there are so many contexts when you are looking at policy conception and deployment and implementation. Sometimes when you are at the larger stage, taking speedy, action in reaction to certain shortcomings, within the the space, the government public space, you may need to slow down, you know, unlike a small corporate space where decisions are made, and sometimes you don't even do a possible impact evaluation of that decision. So if the president is slow on taking action, it may be that he has more and better information than we have, you know, in the public space. So if he's retaining certain officers, despite what seemed like a default situation from these officers, it would be, I want to believe, that the president is a person of judgment and good conscience. And that for him to take a decision, he would want to harmonize and, of course, harness all possible factors in that space before he arrives at a decision. But my own observation, especially about government-owned refineries, is this. Yes, we have a history of government-managed refinery. We have a history of those refineries going under the water, as it were. Fortunately, starting from the last administration, investments were made, you know, to revive these refineries. And I am also excited that the refineries are now being put in the public space for bid by private operators to come forward, you know, and bid to operate those refineries independent of government. That is a principal basic platform. I mean, a template to have a more operationally efficient refinery. That's one. Then, talking about the Dangote product and the NNPC so-called test, I want to correct. That test announcement or statement didn't come from the NNPC. It actually came from the Upstream Commission, the Nigerian Upstream Commission. So,
all right, I've got to ask another question now. So sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Akinsiju, but we're fast running out of time, and I did want to get your impression on, at the top of the program I said that the president had the most comprehensive team ever that he went on this diplomatic outing with. And I wanted to know what you think about sub-nationals also being in there, and also they were reported to be signing their own deals as well. And the import of this, of course, is that it is the state itself that is the guarantor. These people, just being theoretical about it, should there be any default, it's not these people that are in trouble, it's not these states. It's everything comes back to the guarantor, in this case, the federal government led by Mr. President. Whatever the time is, whether Mr. President is in office at the time or he completed his term, it will be the national government, the sovereign government, that would be liable. Give me your thoughts about this with all the state governments that were in there. The Federal Capital Territory was in there, the Lagos state government was in there, and you know the rest.
It's true. We have trust issues, you know, over time with subnationals. But the fact of the matter is that people live in states before they live at the federal level. In fact, in terms of physical existence, Nigerians live in local governments. Perhaps the Nigerians live in wards, if we have to start from that chain, live in wards, geographical and political wards, before they live in geographical and political local governments, before they live in geographical and political states. Most Nigerians, and I can tell you that by the outcome of a study, most Nigerians don't even know the direction to Abuja, which is the emblem, you know, of the federal system. So, where the Nigerian people, the average Nigerian people, see the activities of government from the point of view of what is happening within their region or within their wards. That is one. Then two, it is the state that is supposed to be primarily responsible for the good life and existence of Nigerians, wherever they are. And the Constitution had recognized that capacity, had recognized that need. And that is why states are invested with all the land within their jurisdiction. It's the state that oversights the land. And don't forget, either in economy, in economics or investments, land is the most important factor of production, either at the level of agriculture, manufacture, or other forms of engagement. That is one. Then two, despite the fact that it is the federal government that has ownership of assets, mineral resources under the land, it is the government, the state government, that have the right over the land. So whatever the state government is doing, there must be one collaboration between the state and the federal government, especially when it relates to assets. So, to mineral resources, for instance, And then sovereign credit, sovereign guarantee. It depends on the form of relationship that is evolving, especially as we have China that had been a going concern. We have a going relationship between China and countries and companies in Nigeria.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I get your drift, but we've completely run out of time. But thank you very much, as always, for your insights on matters of policy like this, Mr. Niyi Akinsiju, veteran journalist, writer, policy analyst. Thank you very much for making the time for us this morning. Hope to have you again soon. Okay, so that's our program today. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folare. Bye-bye for now.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Tired of pans that scratch and stick? Or cookware that takes up valuable space in your kitchen? Introducing ShopX Gotham Hammered Copper Collection, the perfect cookware to upgrade your cooking experience. The Gotham Hammered Copper Collection features a super durable ultra non-stick surface,